All right, so we're just going to jump in and I'm going to give my 5 top key takeaways from Psychology of Money. I just read this and finished it, and I thought, okay, maybe it's been a while, so I'll do a book episode and share it. So, number 1, behavior over brilliance. Success with money isn't just about the right formula, it's also about managing your behaviors, emotions, and decisions consistently. So, for example, I think the easiest part about understanding how to make $1 million is math. I mean, you have $100 product, you just have to sell what, 10,000. I think the math is really easy. The hardest part tends to be the the more indirect skills, I should say, right? So things from discipline, working on yourself, staying consistent, working on the right things, because I've known and I've done this myself where in the business I'll work on the wrong thing just because it feels productive or it gives you that dopamine that you're doing something. So it's not always about the right formula. And oftentimes successful entrepreneurs, for example, Myron Gold constantly talks about how 80% of that liftoff, like a rocket, 80% of the liftoff in business is really just starting. I mean, most people have, that's almost crazy if you think about it, right? Because most people think, oh, the hardest part is getting more leads or reoccurring sales or whatever. But it's really just actually starting and doing the right work and doing the tasks at hand. So, you know, I think that's the idea of it being your behavior more than it being the right financial knowledge, or he knew something that I don't know, that's why he's rich, is really important. And I think fundamentally, when I look at wealth, it doesn't necessarily have every component even I talk about on the show. Like, for example, I've met entrepreneurs on this show and in person or in life where they talk about how they went all in on their business and then didn't give any importance to their health. So there are only a few key metrics to this idea of money, and I'm still toying with what exactly those are. My guess is willpower, hard work, and consistency. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head, but I am still constantly thinking about this idea of what does it exactly take to make money? Because obviously it's not brilliance, as we talked about in point 1. It really is your behavior. So it would make sense that you working hard when you say you're going to work, doing it consistently day in and day out, and having the willpower to power through the journey, because that's the hard part, right? The ups and downs, I think is what it takes. So maybe willpower also plays on the idea of why, your purpose or why you're doing it. But that's my takeaway from point 1. As for point 2, the idea of save more than you earn, building wealth and living below your means than it is about chasing high risk returns. And this is something that I had a difficult time understanding on my own before reading this book, when I was still am, but going through my financial journeys. And I always thought, okay, well, let's focus on making more money and focus on that aspect. But there is power to also saving money and learning how to spend it in the right way, I believe is a skill. Almost like saving money, learning how to spend money, and then making money are all almost different skills, is what it seems like to me. But yes, savings is powerful mainly because it gives you that power through any life decision and emergency. It also gives you that peace and calmness. As for any of you that can relate, if you have financial debts, that burden is almost tiring, because no matter how far you run away, it always, that thought circles back at some point. It's like when you're walking through your apartment or your house or whatever, and you see that corner of just junk or things that need to be taken care of. Let's say there's a bunch of mail and a return that you got to do, and then maybe a couple books or something that you got to go put away. And that stuff starts to pile up. Every time you walk past that through your house, you see that corner of that mess. And it just reminds you, that's another task. That's another task I have to do. And I feel like the same way with financial burdens is, I still have that debt. I still have that financial burden, right? And you're constantly reminded of it. And I think savings almost removes that component, allowing for more of a creative flow on how to make money, better ways to spend money, and it's been powerful for me ever since I started saving more. I really realized, even though I have debts, wow, this, gives me some sort of backing, a little bit of confidence in whatever next stage happens, or if an unexpected event happens or unexpected payment, right? Number three, the magic of compounding, right? Time is your powerful ally. Small, consistent investments can grow exponentially over decades. And this idea of compound growth can be seen in numerous books and literatures, from Atomic Habits to this book, The Psychology of Money. And I can attest to the power of compound growth in habits, from health, of just when I wanted to start going to the gym again and I had fallen off the wagon. I started with small compound wins. My first goal wasn't, okay, I'm going to work out for 45 minutes and I'm going to hit this PR and I'm going to do this and this. It was, I'm going to get to the gym. And there was at least a couple days I literally got there and did like 5 minutes and I was so tired and I didn't want to be there and I left. But the actual resistance started before that. I actually was already home and I thought, I don't want to go, but I got myself to get there and I was already there. So I thought, whatever, lift a few weights, then we'll go home. So I did that. And at the very least, what that did to my brain was tell me that I can be consistent and I can stay true to my word. And I think that's far more powerful than anything else that you can tell your brain or trick your brain into believing, right? I think the idea with manifestation, where it goes wrong, is people want to manifest something without the action. They don't want to do the work, or they don't think they need to do the work, or they think somehow spontaneously the result will come without work. And that's where it's wrong, right? Manifesting is about believing that you can do it, having the conviction, and then doing it, right? My manifestation was, I want to, improve my physique. Well, if I just sit at home and just keep manifesting it, it won't happen, right? You still got to put in that work. Manifestation is a tool, like any other idea, like critical thinking. It's not some miraculous anecdote that'll just give you, if you just ask the universe, right? Ask and do, and the universe will be pleased. So before we get right back into the episode, we just have a quick video sponsor from Magic Mind. Have you ever noticed that real lasting wealth isn't about chasing big returns? It's about behavior over brilliance, saving more than you spend, letting time do the heavy lifting, as we've been talking about here on the Psychology of Money. But the same is true for your mental health, because success, financial or mental, isn't about going all in for a week. It's about small, consistent choices you make that compound over time. And one tool that has certainly helped me is this focus shot that Magic Mind was generous enough to let me try. And it's been a game changer in terms of focus, stress, and just peace and calmness, right? Because as some of you know from watching the last few episodes, I've cut out coffee and I'm slowly trying to cut down on caffeine. And this has been a great supplement to transition off of, because tea, this has matcha in it. The caffeine in tea actually has a different effect than the caffeine in coffee. Caffeine in coffee gives you a spike. Caffeine in tea is actually sustained over a longer period of time, which is why you don't feel the jitters. Likewise, which you won't feel in this. Now, this also has ashwagandha and neurotropics to give you that focus and stress relief. And I've tried this and I quite enjoy it. And my friends over at Magic Mind are actually doing a generous promotion right now. And right now, they're giving us a special limited time offer where you can get 48% off your first subscription, or 20% off a one-time purchase using Shiva20, SHIVA20 at checkout. Or you can go to www.magicmind.com/Shiva20, SHIVA20, and try it for yourself. I'm curious what you guys think, and I appreciate Magic Mind for sponsoring it. They're really clean, very good. Interesting aftertaste, but it's a health drink and has amazing benefits. So I appreciate you guys and I appreciate Magic Mind. Let's get back to the episode. Number 4, embrace uncertainty. Financial outcomes are unpredictable. Planning for risks and maintaining flexibility are crucial for long-term stability. And, we kind of already touched on this on number 2, on the idea of savings, but as many of us can attest to, life has ups and downs, and there are always going to be things that you didn't expect that come about. And just having that safety net will allow you to do more of what you want to do and what your soul is asking for you to do, right? Because I love to do this, but if I don't build a savings, if I don't prepare for uncertainty and I don't improve the podcast and keep working on it and understand that my behaviors in my life, my habits, my behaviors in my podcast, my behaviors in my finances are all intertwined because it's me, right? I'm the one living this circle of influences. Then what will happen is they'll all sort of slip. It happens one at a time, right? I mean, hopefully I'm making sense here. I'm basically saying each portion of your life is not distinct. They are intertwined. So if you're struggling financially, that might make you more upset. If you're more upset, you might not want to work out, right? So there is this domino effect of not planning and preparing. If you look at great thought leaders in this world, they're very strategic. They plan, they understand systems. I talked to some millionaires who attest to the idea of EOS, which is just basically an idea in business where you have, it's a business model of how to structure your management and the people in your business. And essentially the top two is a visionary and an integrator. And the integrator focuses on systems and the visionary focuses on ideas and implementation of those ideas. And the hard part for me was learning systems because I was always the idea guy. And what happens is my organization gets sloppy, things get messed up, I'm falling behind, I can't keep the system going. It's like you're driving a car as the engine is breaking down, right? So I can attest as well that systems are so important and having systems, having discipline, saving more, all this helps you prepare for uncertainty. It helps you become more strategic when the unknown is to inevitably occur, right? The only thing that is certain is that things are uncertain. So number 5, true wealth is invisible. Real wealth is measured by what you don't see, savings, investments, financial freedom, not by flashy spending. And as someone in his 20s, I think it's just natural human nature to want to taste what wealth looks like, experience the flashy stuff. But the second you do, for example, the cover of this podcast episode was flashy title of stuff. And I love my things, but if I lost it, I don't think I'd be that upset because I've already come to that conclusion that things pass and nothing is permanent. I love the watch I have, but eventually I'll get a new one or eventually it'll break, right? So things move on and we move on. And if you can realize that, then you don't get so attached to things. And when you don't get attached to things, you realize then what's the point of being flashy? Do things that, you feel called to do that that's authentic to you. So for example, I do enjoy style and clothes. So because I believe it's your presence and it's how you appear and how you respect yourself as well. So I enjoy that. So I do spend good money on it, on high-end material. But I don't spend money on sports tickets because I don't watch a lot of sports, right? But maybe you love sports and you want to treat yourself because you worked hard and you want to go to some NBA playoffs game or whatever. So, people inevitably choose how they spend their money, and you might as well pick things that create investments and not just financial investments, which is what I can attest to, is because most of my money I spent was invested in the podcast, was invested in myself, was invested in skills. And that's where I think the bread and butter is for your 20s is take high risk in investing in yourself, and those lessons will help you later down the road. Because as you grow older, you have more responsibilities of a family, kids, other things, right? So I think the easiest time to do it is as early as possible, but no matter what age you are listening to this, the best time is now, right? So yeah, I mean, I think these are simple points, maybe just what needed to be reminded, right? Common sense is not always common or reoccurring or present, right? Sometimes we forget. So another lesson I learned is the people that care about you don't care about the things you have, and the people that care about the things you have don't really care about you. right? Think about someone who's famous, like a celebrity, when you see it on social media and this crowd starts mobbing them for signatures and photos and all these things. Do they really care about you, or do they care about the idea of you? Oh my God, I got to meet someone famous. You can even hear celebrities talk about this in interviews, and Tony Robbins has mentioned this as well from coaching celebrities, is that they come to him and say, you know, I still don't feel fulfilled. I still don't feel loved, even though so many people love me. And it's because what Tony Robbins calls it is baby love, which is also just another way of saying superficial love. It's just surface level. And they just love the idea of you, right? They don't really know you. And I think what ends up happening inevitably for some celebrities is they thought they would get that fulfillment of love from chasing fame. And when it didn't fill their soul, they thought, what's wrong with me? I have what most people don't. So when you realize, well, that comes from within, you need self-love. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. And when you have that inner self-love and confidence, then whatever you're seeking is, a lot more aligned with what you're actually optimizing for, instead of doing something or chasing the idea of chasing money for happiness, right? Anyone who's wealthy or successful can tell you that if they chased money thinking it's going to make them happy, when they got the money, it didn't change anything. I had a friend who told me once, he was telling me, Shiva, yeah, I one day I was working really hard and I was frustrated, and I was frustrated with my situation. I thought, I'm just going to tally up all my assets and see where I'm at, because I want to, my goal is to be a millionaire. He goes, so I tallied everything up, and it turns out I was a millionaire. I had actually hit it. I had hit the number. So I ran downstairs, told my wife, insert name, wife, we're millionaires. And he tells me, she looks at me and says, so what? We live in the same house. Didn't make a difference to us. And he goes, I guess so. And he walks back upstairs. And that was so eye-opening for me, because I realized we all have this, I got to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire by 30. I want to be a millionaire by 40, blah, blah, blah. All these vanity metrics that we impose are so superficial, because once you hit it, you're like, nothing different, right? So that's why, because you're searching for the wrong thing, or you're searching for something and you're not actually getting what you thought you wanted out of it, right? That's why I believe, the idea of the 6 human needs from Tony Robbins, from contribution, significance, there's a few others. And I think that exercise does really well for helping you understand where you need to be. Yeah, these are the 5 points I had for the psychology of money. I hope you guys found some value out of this. I would greatly appreciate it if you could share the episode and leave a rating, or let me know in the comments what you thought about it or how it could be improved. I haven't done one of these book episodes in a while, so it might have been a little rusty, but I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the time you spent here. So till next time, see ya.